just CSS right now. Do we have any ideas of how the other pieces will be implemented?
So, I'm not like 100% confident on my skills with like Ajax, especially
Right.
on
I
the
don't think any of us are.
with. I think it's, like the app itself, like the idea itself, I think is pretty straightforward. And yeah, so yeah, we need to like think of like what we're gonna do, and I think I have like something like to start like what I was working on before we like establish what app we're gonna do, and that since this is like my pitch that I started doing, and it's just like simple JavaScript where it's just like simple translation. The problem is that I just like did, for instance, I just did fruits, and like all my data is just like that I just like hard coded. So if the user try to translate something that was on my like within my array, it wouldn't like it would throw an error. So that's where I just got stuck.
Well, I think that's smart though to limit it to. I mean, is there a way we could, well, like just say, here's these 5. You said fruits. Like if we just gave them, what if we like it somehow just displayed 5 options and those were the only options that there were. I don't know if maybe this even doesn't matter right
The
now.
examples, like talking about. So, and we'll give, like a variety of fruits that they can like pick from, all in English, and then they can just like pick it, drag it, or type it, whatever, and they'll translate it in Spanish. And so that way you could do it limited, where you give them the options and they just have to pick it. But that's the only thing that I could think of.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, especially just since we're limited on time and whatever, is that might just be easier.
I can send you guys my code for that, for the JavaScript, and I'll send you the link to my example for CSS.
For sure.
All right. So is
go ahead.
doing basic greetings and maybe counting to 10, or I guess, am I understanding that the app correctly?
Yeah. So yeah, like my idea was that like and it was like implementing like images too, and like they would like pick it and I'll tell you what's the name, or like in English, or either in English or Spanish. But I'm just trying to simplify it so we don't have to like get like overly complicated and get like over our scope of knowledge.
Yes, I fully agree.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
I'll send you guys
does anyone?
everything.
Oh, go ahead. Say that again.
I was done.
So I imagine like all of the JavaScript and CSS, that won't be all that hard for us to implement because I think that's what we all kind of understand the best.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's the DOM, local storage, JSON, and AJAX that are going to be harder to implement. Does that sound right? Does anybody have any idea right off of how any of those will be?
I think I have a better understanding of local storage than the other two, and
Okay.
I think we can use local storage in a simple way too. And I think Adam had some code where he was trying to like save the data so that like people wouldn't have to like so it would like auto-populate or something like that. But we could do like simple things like just changing the color too. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert in local storage either, but I think I'm like better at it than like Dome and Ajax.
Would the app have a profile for the child?
I mean, we could, but I think that's.
Or I guess probably save locally in the device their status or their progress, wherever their progress was last left off.
Yeah, like even like a score, if that will get Well, we could do that like within JavaScript. We could just keep a score and like just save it with local storage and yeah.
Oh, that's not okay. I'm just writing notes of this so that later on we'll have at least an idea of where to start for each of
Right. And
each of
I
these.
mean, I'm just trying to think of ways that we can utilize
Right.
these technologies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The score, that's not a bad idea, especially if you just like added a point every time. So just added, or something like that, something easy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so probably the highest score.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So it basically it remembers your last score that
Yeah.
you scored. Okay. That's simple enough that we could do, I think.
Yeah, that sounds
And
like
then
it.
I guess create some sort of database with the tests or the translations. That's where I'm getting lost as far as creating an object that we can then convert in JSON and then send it through Ajax. Or Ajax is more just it's auto updated right there on the same page. It doesn't have to refresh.
Could we somehow use Ajax to update the score?
Yes.
Would that be easier or harder than using local storage?
I mean, like, I would say we could do both.
Okay.
To where where the score is auto-populated.
Oh, there you go. So it's automatically updating when you get a point, but then your local storage is saving that score.
Yeah.
Hard. But for Ajax, anyway, sounds a little easier. How about JSON or DOM? Those two are still.
So
I don't have any ideas for those yet.
the DOM part isn't. Sorry, I'm hearing myself twice.
Yeah, me too.
It's throwing me off quite a bit.
I feel like DOM was fairly similar to like CSS type stuff.
It's very similar to JavaScript event.
Yeah.
So if you take a picture of pants and you slide it across translation, wouldn't that be a DOM or JavaScript event?
Say that again.
So on the app, there's a picture of pants. So once you slide it across with your finger or whatever, or swipe, then the translate shows up.
Yeah, that could be done with DOM, right? I think you're right.
Or even the background color could change from either green to correct or red for incorrect. But that's more of a quiz. It's not really telling the child, what it did.
But I think that would still work, right? I mean, it's still.
Yeah, that's still it.
Okay, so then what about JSON? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about the functionality of this app. If we had a picture in the middle of the screen, and then two options on the top of the screen and the bottom, and then the child would have to decide which swipe in order to translate what the picture represents. So you could have the bastos at the top and then pantalones at the bottom. With the picture of pants, they would have to decide which way, what it is. And that way, that would get them for 1 or 0.
Okay. Yeah, I can follow that.
Okay, so that would entail Ajax with an automatic update right there. Local storage for the hockey.
Yeah.
And JSON would be needed to translate that data object to the database. Hopefully that made sense.
I can follow it. I still, maybe it's just me personally, maybe you're right, I still don't fully understand the JSON connection. It would be doing what?
So JSON works with Ajax.
Yes.
And so when a person swipes the image to whichever choice, because that choice would be an object, we would then have to create a function that would take that object and convert to the string. Ajax would send it to the database, and then if it's right or wrong, it would back. And then JSON would then convert it to an object.
Oh.
Okay.
And that, like, there's a function for that. It's like something. I think.
What was that, Melissa? I just didn't hear it. Sorry.
That there's like a function for that JSON dot part. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and then I think that covers all the. Oops, I just closed the wrong window. I think that covers. Those were the 4 that I just was having a hard time imagining how they would be implemented. But I think Adam at least has got it covered.
Okay, guys, I have to go, but I'll send you the link to the report tonight. Code for JavaScript.
Okay, I think that's a good starting point. And then, I don't know, maybe we should try and meet earlier in the week next week to actually start doing a little bit of work, or no, you guys are good with Thursday.
I'm okay. If you want to meet early. Either way.
I think since we're starting this earlier in the
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
All right, I'm home, so I'll be on my laptop.
I gotta go back. Can you guys let me know what's the side?
Yeah. We'll either post it on the group or send an email or something. Thanks for meeting, Melissa.
Oh, thank you guys.
Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Okay.
Adam, are you good just waiting till we see what Melissa has, and then we can go from there?
Yeah, I couldn't understand what she would. There's like an echo, but.
Oh, she just had to go, but said she'll send all her whatever code she has, and I think it might be helpful to see what she has and where she's at before we start anything else. But you at least, I think, have a good idea or understanding of how it will all work together. So I feel confident now. I was not understanding how every piece would work together, but I think if we wait and see what Melissa has, and then if we could meet earlier in the week next week to either start adding to it or just see what exactly, just kind of where we're at. I feel like I don't want to start from scratch if she's already done something.
I agree.
But I don't know what more we can really do without looking at what she has.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you have more brilliant ideas.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I say we'll just see what she has and then we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. Well, then we are done here and we'll just wait and see what she sends us.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Thanks for meeting.
No problem.
See ya.
Bye.